Welcome to the Forsaken. Oh, after I, like, completely just move around a camera there accidentally. There we go. Whee! It's fine. It's all fine. It's all okay.
All fine.
The goddamn pen is blue.
Alright. So, y'all... Oh, my God.
I'm gonna mute myself.
What is even happening? Welcome to the Forsaken, here on Madbird Streams. Let's just get right into it. Y'all let me know if, chat, let me know if you can't. Oh, I forgot they had a song picked out. So y'all just let me know if the music's too loud. Alright, so let's get started with a recap from last week, which was our 50th episode, and our 1 year anniversary is next week. So next Monday is our 1 year anniversary. We're going to do a dice giveaway probably, so stay tuned for that and be here in chat next week. So maybe you have a chance to win some dice. Otherwise, it's no dice.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Good night, everybody.
Well played.
Nice for you.
Dead.
Alright, so last week on The Forsaken, our adventurers encountered a pack of strange wolves as they exited the forest, a few of the wolves shapeshifting into drow forms to greet them. After brief interrogation, they escorted everyone to the outskirts of Lysadere with another wolf pack, this one recognizable to the party, and they escorted them inside the village. This pack they knew from Central Osbergen, so they asked about Aqua, who they quickly find out happens to be living in the village. They're taken to Aqua's residence, who greets them with a smile and cups of delicious tea, a baby griffin scurrying underfoot. Once they've caught up, the adventurers inquire about Shanad, seeing that the last time they saw her, she was separated from Aqua and living with the Drow Pact of the Moon in the south. Bugbears had apparently invaded their hideaway, thus driving those surviving in the clan to the northeast and thus to Lysadere. Shanad now lived with Aqua, but something was off. 2 weeks ago, the Drow child became disoriented and withdrawn, and now only practiced spells in her room and did little else. Gerbil tried to interact with Shanad, having a rapport with her from before, but her replies seemed disjointed and her mannerisms disengaged. Eventually, Gerbil broke through to her, but only just before Shanad almost catches the room and Gerbil on fire with a fireball spell. Aqua steps in to separate her from everyone and immediately begins wrapping up things with the travelers, telling them that they should visit Sword Dancer Javaca before leaving the village. But as she closes out their conversation, it's revealed that 2 other individuals recently began staying in Lysadere, whose names and descriptions sound familiar to our adventurers: a curious human mage named John and a colorful half-orc named Larek. And that's what happened last week.
Let's go.
So, starting back, so yes, Aqua was, guiding the group of you to Javaca. So she's kind of taking you through a few of these, kind of back cave hallways, since you're still kind of inside the mountain of sorts, when you were visiting Aqua. You pass by several, you would assume is kind of residence doors, like Aqua's, and they have numbers on them, to differentiate them one from another. You pass by a couple of these hallways, kind of going deeper, seemingly into the mountain, and then kind of come out into another open, kind of foyer, I guess you could say, that's still carved out of the stone, has some murals carved on the side. And Aqua makes a left and goes through these 2 open, beautifully crafted wooden doors, double doors, that are kind of held to the side, or held open. And as you pass into this area, you come into a larger part of the cave. As you pass in, there are these wooden beams that seem to form this almost sanctuary, that almost seems like the cave and the beams were kind of created for each other. They're kind of, the wood is kind of, the wooden beams are kind of just cresting the top of this huge area. And then in some places there are like these murals and patterns carved into the stone on the side of the walls, that the wood panels kind of press up against these beams do, and form this beautiful kind of like almost a skeleton of a sanctuary. And you have wooden beams that kind of interweave within each other as they form this like a almost steepled roof. There are wooden benches that have been carved and placed in here. And then there is a far ahead of you, possibly maybe about 50 feet, is a wooden trying to think, a stage of sorts. It's a raised platform, but a pretty large area. And on there you see some mostly drow and mostly women dancing. And some in dresses, some in more leather armor. Some even have some chainmail on. But they all have these beautiful swords that glint in the sunlight that kind of comes through different areas of this cave. And it's quite an interesting sight. Yes, Aqua kind of leads you in and towards the front of the structure, where a drow woman stands, and who slowly, at first she seems to be watching the stage. Two long swords hilted on her belt at her sides, and she turns to you and has this beautiful kind of golden half plate armor on, with these silver embellishments, but it has what some of you, well, I would say probably I don't know, anyone who is proficient in religion, you can make a religion check to see if you can kind of point out. Pyxrin, you don't have to because you will know this anyways.
19.
Okay. Anyone else rolling or no? Okay. Yeah, so Rhaenyra and Pyxrin, you would both recognize this as a symbol of Ellistrae on her chest piece. She also has this kind of beautiful golden paint on her face that form these interesting patterns going across the bridge of her nose and down the sides of her face. She turns to you with these golden eyes that kind of rest on the group, and then to Aqua. Javaca. Aqua speaks up. These are my friends. I believe that they have a few things that they wanted to talk to you about. Most likely they might know John, who's been staying. Oh, yes. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. She gives you kind of a brilliant smile. It is a pleasure to meet all of you. And Aqua will turn to the rest of you. Well, I'll leave you to it. I won't pry. Please do stop in and say bye before you head out. You don't have to do it if you're planning to come back through, but just before you leave the area.
We certainly will. Thank you for everything.
Aqua would kind of give a half bow and a gracious smile before she makes her way past you and out of the structure. Also, I would say Rhaenyra and Pyxrin, you would also notice the symbol carved into the ceiling as well. I'd say you all notice it, but the two of you would notice that that's the symbol of Ellistrae as well. But the rest of you, you would see this kind of, this symbol is if you're unaware, is a kind of an outline of a sun with little rays coming out of it and what would seem like a long sword going vertically through the center of the circle. Just making sure I didn't miss anything there. Okay. Javaca will look back, kind of wait until Aqua has stepped away and is almost out of the sanctuary, we'll call it, and then look back to the rest of you. So, how can I help you?
Javaca might know.
Yes.
Very powerful weapons. There are mages trapped in each of those. I need clarification.
She'll hold up her hand for a moment and then pause. Oh, yes. Aqua just reminded me, or told me about the swords that you carry. Please, let's move into a back room. And she will walk kind of off to the side of where the dancers are, and go through another intricately carved single wooden door this time, and kind of beckon for the rest of you to follow her inside.
I follow her.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. As you pass the
please.
dancers on the stage, they continue dancing, a few of them kind of casting their eyes down to you, but most of them staying focused. As you get inside the room, Javaca will turn and close the door behind you. Inside is very minimally compared to the rest of everything that you've seen, especially compared to what you just saw in the sanctuary, where you had all of the different carvings and patterns carved into the stone and the wooden beams. The room that you step into is very minimally decorated. The room has been carved out of stone, not so finely detailed as the other rooms that you've came across. Maybe something similar to probably Aqua's residence. But what catches your attention is in the center of the room, along with, you have like some wooden tables off to the side. Speaking of which, Pyxrin, make a perception check specifically for me, please. And then in the center of this room is this large stone pillar. So you can't tell if this was just naturally how the cave came, or if they actually carved this in to where it kind of goes into a funnel in the middle of this room. But through this large stone pillar, they've kind of cut in and through just enough to create room for a kiln. It kind of reminds you, for those who saw the kiln back in Relask at the the engine, I think is what it was called. I don't know.
Sounds right.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But it reminds you of kind of that kiln, except it has this interesting stone pillar kind of encasing it, but giving enough room for, of course, to access it. You see all kinds of different work benches around there and different parts of the kiln that most of you would probably recognize. And Javaca will step into the room, after closing the door, and kind of motion to a mostly cleared off wooden table that's kind of beside this other wooden table with a few things on it. What did you get for your perception check, Pyxrin?
Dirty 20.
Okay. I'm going to private message you something.
Got a secret.
Give me one moment, yeah.
Why she's private messaging, you also could head over to our Patreon and check out all the features there.
This is true. This is very true. Thank you, Zach, for the
Yep.
for that boost there.
Sign up now. We have movie night, Patreon movie night this Wednesday.
It's true.
So yes, Javaca will gesture to one of the wooden tables that's mostly cleared off. If you wouldn't mind setting the swords out here, or setting the weapons out here. I mean, looking at you, Zephyr.
Yeah. Lay them out.
Okay, so you just
Except
kind of
for mine.
You just kind of unroll the cloth. Okay.
Does Gerbil notice that you didn't put the one he's wielding?
Make a perception check for me.
Come on. Oh my gosh. Natural one.
Oh no, you don't see nothing.
I'm too worried about Shanad.
Yeah,
Get everything going on.
Oh man.
Thinking about Shanad, also like just seeing all these weapons kind of splayed out like this gerbil is a little off-putting. For the rest of you, I'm not sure who has seen these out and who hasn't. You will see as Zephyr unrolls this large blue cloth. You will see a large greatsword. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I have this written down.
Would these hurt Gerbil's wound? All these
You see,
swords?
give me 1 second. You have 2 long swords and 3 long swords, a great sword, and 2 daggers. That you see Zephyr has kind of bound into this cloth that he now unrolls. I would say that all of you would be able to notice that there is a light blue glow to the hilts of all of these. They're all different in design, kind of. The one thing that they all have in common, however, is this almost like a stamp on the hilt that that's been burned into the metal that is of a gosh, I'm trying to think what I said now. I think it was mountains with a circle above it, like a full circle above it. So you would see that on each of these weapons. Oh, both. Frank, are you asking if it's either or? Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Sorry, I was answering a question in Zoom, viewers. Yeah, so Javaca will take a look kind of over these, not touching any of them, but kind of keeping her hands to her side and leaning over and looking, and she'll turn to you, Zephyr. Where did you get these?
Olivia.
She will look to the rest of you, kind of like with a questioning, confused look.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. No.
We were recently at a place where there was a portal, and there was an infestation of angry mage spirits, Shiga, if you know the term. And anyways, there was a room full of swords that trapped these spirits. And
No, these were all of them. I took all of the weapons.
yeah, and and somehow he got all of them, even though I tried to encourage him not to. But here they are.
Well, she'll look at you, Zephyr, with a kind of a wry smile on her face. You've certainly got yourself into trouble.
The tactic we used.
Well, and she'll kind of address all of you. These swords are, and daggers are, these weapons are definitely, and she'll kind of look at them again, are definitely laced with arcanic ability.
Side effects.
Give me a moment here, and she's going to kind of just kind of turn back to the table with the weapons on them, and
There are mages trapped in each of those.
He casually says.
yeah, she'll look at Zephyr. Right. Okay.
Seems to be working.
And she will kind of close her eyes as she just kind of runs, or kind of like spreads her hands across the table and back together. She does that a couple of times, and will turn to you, Zephyr. And actually, let me just roll here. Let's see. Okay, all right. Well, I think I have a sense of a few of these. She will start kind of motioning towards a few of them. Okay, that one. She motions towards one of the long swords. This one seems to be filled with fairly okay spirits. They seem I mean, she'll look to you, Zephyr. Don't get me wrong, all of these are still a bit unpredictable. The spirits put into them weren't selected, so you have different mages with different spirits with different desires. So even what I tell you, take with a grain of salt, I guess is how some say. This other, and she kind of motions towards the other
What was the weapon that she first pointed to?
long sword.
Long sword.
The two long swords, other than the one that you have, are pretty similar in design. She will motion towards the other long sword there. Let's see here. So 2 out of 3. This one right here, I would be extremely careful with. And she'll kind of close her eyes again and hover her hand over it. And you'll see... why don't everyone who's paying attention to this, why don't you make a perception check for me? We'll make you work for it.
12.
9.
Okay.
15.
Mm-hmm.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
19.
All right.
8 plus 5. Yeah, 8 plus 5, 13.
So 13. I would say anyone with we'll say a 13 or above, would be able to see this pained look on her face as she hovers above this second longsword. And that look of kind of almost like a wince, a pain, turns to almost a blank expression. Her eyes again are closed. But you see her features kind of fall as if in a trance. And then her hand starts getting a little bit closer to the second longsword.
No touchy!
As soon as you say that, Zephyr, she kind of almost jerks out of it.
No touchy.
This one is... Thank you, friend. This one needs to be extremely careful around. Not friendly. She'll kind of say that to you, Zephyr, specifically.
Not friendly.
Right. She will motion towards the third longsword and the last one in this grouping. This one right here seems okay for the most part. A little, and she'll kind of smirk, a little chaotic, but okay. She'll look to you, Tegan.
Did she
Oh.
examine the one on Zephyr, or
No,
was that
he
one of
didn't.
the-
He didn't take it out.
Oh, okay.
She was examining what was shown to her.
Okay.
And these are all long swords, the ones
Those
that
three are
she's.
long swords, correct. She
Will
yeah.
overcome with curiosity,
Sure.
draw his longsword and place it on the table as well.
Okay, all right. She started to have her hand over the greatsword, but then suddenly, like, jerks her hand away as you place it on the table. Kind of looks to you, Zephyr. Oh, hiding one, were we?
No touchy.
She will turn to yours, Zephyr, and put her hand over it, and her eyes close, and those who could notice this before, who rolled above the 13 or above before, will notice her expression kind of dull again.
I'll clap my hands really loud by her.
She does not respond.
I kick her in the shin.
Oh.
No touchy.
Whoa!
Rude.
Whoa!
Rude.
Okay, all right.
Get a
She
little feisty.
immediately kind of like jerks out, and
Sorry, you were zoning out again.
Negative side effects.
she looks to Zephyr. Have you been using the sword?
Yes, he has.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
She'll kind of glance to the two of you that answer for him.
It was the first one he touched.
It's a
She's
sparkle.
going to take a step closer to you, Zephyr, and just kind of look at you with a very concerned but, caring expression, I guess. And just be careful. How do you feel? While this is happening, make a wisdom saving throw, Zephyr.
22.
Okay. Yeah, you feel a little bit of weird sadness when you put it on the table, Zephyr, but you're feeling okay for right now. How do you feel?
I could go either way.
Okay. Well,
I need clarification.
give me a moment. Let me see if I can.
Do all the swords look similar to each other, or can we tell them apart?
Zephyr's longsword looks a little bit different than the other three longswords. Those look pretty similar in make, honestly. Zephyr's has a bit of a different hilt.
The sparkle.
She's going to turn back to your longsword that's now on the table and put both hands kind of hovering over it again, and
No touchy.
you... They're very loud. Very talkative.
Very talkative.
They definitely like you. Well, a couple of them do.
We might have squatters.
Oh. See. Seems to like danger. And they were all mages. and want the mages to win.
Tegan will ask, is there a way to purge the swords of these? I mean, they're like sounds like from the description that they're meant to trap souls, but what are with these nature of these swords? What do you do once you trap the mages within the swords?
Oh, some would use it to their benefit. Others would just... Honestly, I've never ran across people trapping souls in swords without an ulterior motive.
Okay.
Usually it's either to make the sword more powerful or to use whatever otherworldly abilities the sword would gain from this, or to even obtain the knowledge of the soul trapped inside, as sometimes you can communicate with them.
Calling for backup?
If they agree with what you're doing, yes.
How does one exactly trap a soul in a sword? It's surely not taken from a soul that's in a body.
Not gonna lie, there are extremely powerful sorcerers and wizards that can do that. But usually it's taken from those that have already moved on. Or passed, I guess. But their souls haven't moved on. They either find a way, either go to the Nine Hells and find some there, or find a way to trap them here on this plane.
Zephyr will look at his longsword again.
And there are other planes that they can go to as well.
Is there a safe way to store these? Like, it seems like I've noticed your reaction, and I've been noticing Zephyr's reaction. It's that these souls are trying to influence whoever's near them or wielding them. Is there a safe way to carry these or store these so that these souls aren't actively conversing with us?
Not to carry them, no, unless you carried them in a large iron box that was big enough for them.
Or
Easily
alternatively,
manipulated.
is there an easy way to destroy them?
Well,
You're dead wrong.
I know some of arcana and weapons, but I never had experience with that. I just know of what I've heard. I've never seen a soul released from one. Usually...
Sorry.
I was going to say, usually whoever traps them in there either wants them there and then uses it for what they need, or ends up wanting it there, if you know what I mean. They can be very persuasive. They have nothing else. This is their way of still living.
Zephyr will point at the sword that he's been using and point at some of the other swords and say, I could go either way?
Are you talking about using all these swords at one time?
I think maybe he's trying to say that he doesn't have to use the one he's been using. He could use another one if you think one would be safer.
Make a wisdom check at disadvantage, Zephyr.
Oh dear. I'm sorry, Zephyr.
Can't we just help them pass over? Oh, no.
I rolled 2 17s, so I got 2 dirty 20s.
Oh man.
I will take a picture of this.
Holy crap!
Not a warlock just yet.
Whoa!
You definitely. You feel a little bit of dread at Tegan speaking the words aloud, Zephyr. And can almost hear that a distant yelling.
Yeah, Zephyr will sway a little bit in response.
To your question, Pyxrin, Javaca will turn to you and that's more of a difficult question than what you might realize. Sure, there may be some in these swords that might want to, and these weapons that might want to move on. But again, some of them, they realize what has happened to them. They may not have chosen to be placed in these swords, but they also have realized that maybe they can make a difference this way, whether that be towards something that the group of you want or not. They will use your situation to their advantage.
Black penance?
Making a difference, I don't mean that it's always going to be good. And I'm not saying it's always going to be bad. It's their way of continued living, I suppose. Making do with the lot that they've been given. So, and not to mention that it's extremely difficult to destroy these swords. It's a very
Not
interesting
friendly?
craftsmanship. Which one are you pointing to, Zephyr?
The one that I've been using.
You will see Javaca look back to your long sword that's sitting on the table, Zephyr, and her face will kind of become serious for a moment and concerned and almost like she's searching for something. You have 5 in this one.
Like 5 in the good one or the bad one?
Bad one. The bad one he's been using.
Oh, okay, thanks. 5 bad souls, got it.
They don't want to talk to me. It...
Talk!
Okay, cool. Make another wisdom saving throw, please.
Either way,
21! Oh man, keep it coming. I do not want to end up under
You're
the control.
doing this in the first part of the session?
why did you roll this when you first touched the things?
Sorry, I don't know.
You hear a distant babbling of voices, Zephyr. And even looking at the sword on the table, it seems like, you still think I liked having it.
Past tense?
You can certainly try.
Well, I'm just saying, you said I liked having it.
Yeah, you liked having it, like, currently, like, gosh, I've forgotten. Let's see, Javaca. Oh, yes. You told them to talk. Suddenly, Javaca, as soon as you say that, Zephyr, Javaca looks back to the sword, and her eyes just become wide, and she takes a couple of steps back and kind of puts her hands up by her ears. Oh, God. How do you put up with it?
Very talkative.
She's going to go across the room over to, like, a small, like, stove, and... Does anyone want any tea?
Yes, please.
Sure, I'd take tea.
I just had some, but thank you.
So she'll start making a pot, and she'll kind of like talk back over her shoulder as she is across the room as she is doing this. The great sword seems okay. And I couldn't read one of the daggers, but one of them, the one to the far right, seems good as well. Hopefully.
Do you have like paint or something that we can put on these so we know which ones are good and bad?
Here, she will
What's the name?
step over to kind of like a set of drawers that have all these little drawers in it that she pulls out one and starts digging through it on a table and comes out with a like metal wiring that's been kind of twisted together, and she'll come over and mark one of the daggers with the like just kind of like twisted around the handle where it won't like hurt your hand or anything. So
Is that for the good ones or the bad ones?
These are for the well, the ones that seem a little unruly. So she marks one of the daggers, and let's see, one of the long swords, as well as Zephyr's. Very careful as not to touch them.
No
Now,
touchy.
she'll immediately turn around. Now again, there are different spirits in these swords. I'm not saying that they're not all wanting the same thing. So even the ones that I marked bad and the ones that you consider good, don't take that as the last word on them, I guess. Be cautious.
Zephyr's the name.
And suddenly a teapot whistles in the background, and she'll and go back across the room and start taking the teapot off and pour some in some mugs.
But either way, he shouldn't be carrying all of these in a blue sack on his back, right? What do you?
I have a bag of holding. Would that make a difference? Or should we throw them all into a pit of fire? Options. Options.
Or bury them.
I mean, why not let them help us?
Well, but I don't think they all want to help us. I believe she specifically said the one in Zephyr's sword wants the mages to win.
We
Yeah.
know where all these spirits came. We know these are Shiga.
Javaca's going to turn from where she'll kind of bring over a platter of mugs for everyone, and she'll look at the lot of you very seriously. Is it such a bad thing if the mages win?
Depends on the intent.
They're mages.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Wait,
I remember that now.
We need to have this conversation. Do we need to have a conversation of whose side's on what side now?
Other than being here with his sword acquisitions. Do you know a Cullem Krenthora?
The name sounds familiar. John was looking for him.
Right.
I believe
we,
was on his way to see him before stopping in the village for a bit.
Yeah, we know John.
Oh,
I'm a traveler.
delightful
Mimicking
man.
John.
Uh,
Literally with John's voice.
She'll kind of give you a quizzical look, but not pay it too much heed. A delightful human, for sure. We've enjoyed... He's been very interesting having here in the village.
Human.
Good. We. What?
Human.
But John was human.
Something smells here.
I didn't do it.
You asked about what to do with the weapons. I don't have a good answer. If you're not handling it, then someone else will. You can try destroying it. I'm not sure the best way to do that. And in destroying them, you could face... Well, within these weapons alone... She'll kind of even, count to herself a bit. I mean, you have about possibly close to 30 souls. So if they're upset with you...
Do you know maybe what the capacity is for these souls? If there are too many souls, does it explode? Could there be negative side effects, as Zephyr likes to say?
Special side effects.
No, it just won't collect anymore. It's almost like filling a cup with too much water or a mug with too much, cup with too much tea. Nothing will happen if you put too much tea in it, but it just won't hold anymore.
Us and then bad things happen.
Possibly. Depends on how you're trying to collect them.
Do you have a blacksmith in the village?
That would be me.
Huh?
I mean, there are others, but as Sword Dancer, that's part of my...
Ah, I see. Could you make a case for holding these?
How will you carry a case that's going to hold 3 long swords, a great sword?
Well,
Zephyr's a name.
we have a bag of holding.
Will it fit in there?
I mean,
Will it fit?
20,
one way to find
20
out.
cubic feet.
That's
So yes.
Like the bag holds 20 cubic feet, I'm assuming.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's going to take up a lot of room. I'll let you know that right now.
I'm not carrying that.
I mean, I'm not like, that's not my top wish list. But if that's what we have to do, I'll take it. But if we could just destroy them or store them somewhere else, that'd be great.
I can make you a metal box if you need it.
We do have 2 bags of holding, right?
Do you?
Or am
I don't keep. I don't keep an eye on your.
Gerbil does not have one.
I don't
Gerbil
have
does
one.
not
No, I
have
have one. I thought we had
Holding.
one. I thought we had one before I had one.
Bag
Maybe.
of
I
hol-
could be wrong.
I don't think so. I don't think Kazeel had one.
Oh,
Gerbil
that's
had
cool.
Gerbil has
That's
a bag of colding.
Yeah.
Oh.
Keeps things chilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just to freeze everything. It'll
Put
be
them on
alright.
ice.
Yeah.
Does it work the same as a bag of holding, just cold?
I'm not sure about the size.
Oh, okay.
It can only hold 100 pounds of items.
But we're good. Definitely not 100 pounds items.
Yeah, stick them in there.
Nice sunflowers.
Oh yeah, he does have he does have a couple of sunflowers. Never crush them.
Zephyr looks upset. People
Well,
are talking about this without
Gerbil's gonna have to make a
consultant.
choice.
Wait, sorry, I wasn't.
Sunflowers and the weapons. Everybody
Well,
turns
wait,
and
as
stares
far
at
as this-
Gerbil.
Well, as far as the bag of colding isn't like an infinite thing, is it? I thought it was just a
20
cold
cubic
a
feet.
bag that just
Oh, the bag of colding. I don't.
yeah, the bag of colding was just a thing that keeps things cold. It wasn't like an extra dimensional thing, was it?
I mean, it could be. Why not?
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Gerbil was so busy in that field of sunflowers. I don't think he ever actually
The only thing
picked
I'm
anything.
finding, let's see, 11 bags, I've never seen it before too. Okay, so it emits visible
Either
cold
way.
air while open. It can only hold. So other than it can only hold 100 pounds, which the bag of holding does not have that limitation. It says it has the same properties as the bag of holding.
Gerbil doesn't.
Ultimately,
Gerbil doesn't want these swords anywhere
Yeah,
near him.
I don't really want to carry them. But if
Zephyr's the name.
yeah, but are you gonna lug a metal chest of swords around?
Zephyr just points to his back.
Okay.
Well, we don't even. I mean, it's rather inexpensive, I would think. Let's just make the chest and see if the chest works. It may not even work. The voices may still come through the iron.
Rude.
But we don't know, Zephyr. We don't know.
Rude. No chest.
We don't know.
I mean,
Oh, you don't want a chest; you just want to carry them.
Zephyr's the name.
do you need to keep all of them?
Javaca is just kind of folding her arms and leaning back against the table, just kind of watching the conversation.
He sounds great.
Oh, she already brought it to you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I
He's
start
already
drinking my
tea
tea.
So, what do you want me to do?
Oh, sorry, Crow. Gotta pour the tea.
Aw.
Yeah. Zephyr's trying to decide not to pick up the sword that he has been using and to pick up something else.
Well, you let me know when you start reaching for something else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zephyr walks over and tries picking up the great sword.
Again, give me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage, please.
What disadvantage?
Yes.
It'll be 2 19s. Don't
You
worry.
can only.
As you step up to the swords, Zephyr, and get closer to them, you can hear this kind of whispering around you as you get closer to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
think I
is
asked-
it his fault we
okay.
heard all that whispering on that bridge?
That was before he got the swords.
Yeah.
I
So
tried.
15 at disadvantage.
There's a charger way back there by the chair.
Not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah, as you start reaching for another sword, Zephyr, you suddenly hear a couple of familiar voices screaming together and kind of into your mind. What are you doing? You can't. get rid of us. You don't want to touch the other ones. Why don't you? The other one kind of speaks up. Why don't you wield both of us? Why don't you use both swords? Can you wield 2 long swords? Maybe.
It's a great sword that he's reaching to touch. That might be difficult.
Just scrawny crow with a great sword in a box.
I'm just saying what they're asking you.
I could go either way.
Do we see this? Not that we'd hear the internal dialogue. But
Do you want to make
do
you
we
can make
see him-
perception checks and see if you see Zephyr reaching for the sword.
And or struggling to reach for the sword,
Right.
apparently.
Right.
All right.
I got a 10.
17, I believe.
14. 9 plus.
That's one of the ones that seems okay. Let's see, where's it
Gerbil,
at?
are you
Seems
rolling?
okay.
Are you... Perception
Gerbil
check if
doesn't-
you are, or no. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you're going,
I think Gerbil's just kind of just like.
Okay.
like,
All right.
like
All
he's
right.
just-
So, Rin and Pyxrin, you notice Zephyr had like taken some steps towards the table and was starting to reach for the great sword, and kind of has frozen there, shaking a bit.
I could go either way.
Come on, you just want to. Yeah, you can use that. You don't want the great sword. We're a lot more powerful than the great sword.
Is he actually verbally saying I can go either way, or is that in his brain?
What is it, Zephyr?
Verbally.
Zephyr, what's wrong? Hey. Stand up and. Okay, you're still
Hey.
with us?
No touchy.
I could go either way.
Who are you-
Brow furrowed.
Javaca would start taking a couple of steps towards you. Bird, you don't... Why would you want to use another weapon? Why not just try to not use any of them?
Listen to the wise woman.
And...
Points. Seems okay.
Your...
And points at
the great
one
sword?
of the. Yeah, and then points at one of the other long swords. Pretty good spirits.
Gerbil will.
I think
Points at another long sword. Seems okay. For
Javaca's
the most
going
part,
to look around the rest of the group. Have I not been clear that just because I say that they're good spirits doesn't mean that they will want good?
No, you've
have
been
been.
perfectly clear. He's just.
I understood you well.
Zephyr, wait.
He's very curious.
Gerbil will pull that battle axe that Pyxrin had him hold. You want the battle axe? Look at it. Look how nice it is. You want it?
Javaca's
You can have this.
Javaca's going to turn towards you, Tegan, and kind of take you off to the side. Not take you like away from the group, but just kind of like turn you away from the group. Do we need to take the swords away? Do we need to take the weapons away from him?
I think he is rather impulsive, and if he's, I fear personally. I fear if constant exposure will have negative side effects.
Why don't we talk to John? John has been working on a way of summoning some of the spirits, so maybe he'll be able to get a better feel of what they're wanting.
Yeah, that sounds like a good option. Do we have can we just, is this room safe? Can we just leave these here now, for now?
Yes, it's safe.
No one will come in here and mess with the swords, or
No, this is a temple. Only I come back here. Maybe one of my servants, but they won't do anything.
Okay, I think that's a good idea proposed to everyone. I think we should.
I'll leave it to you.
All right, I will turn to the
And
group.
she will back away and start getting...
Zephyr is still reaching for the sword while you're having that conversation, right?
But
I'm
literally
assuming.
struggling.
I'm gonna go and try. I'll kind of whistle for Mags too. I'm gonna try and pull him away from the swords.
Okay. As right before he does that, Zephyr, as you're staying there struggling, you hear a deeper voice in your mind. Yes. You can use me, of course. The great sword. You can use this one. We'll most happily welcome you. And then, in adjunction to that, you hear the other two voices, and a female voice kind of pop in too, and they're starting to sound more and more frantic. You can stay, you can... We can help you, Zephyr. We can work together. And as you're reaching for this great sword, you, given your wisdom saving throws weren't bad, you feel like you can make the decision. If given the chance. You feel like you could probably push through this and reach for the great sword if you want to.
I choose neither of them? Or did I not roll well enough for that?
If you want to try that, you can try that, and there would be another roll. As you're thinking this, Rin, what was it you were doing?
I'm trying to pull him away from it with Mags' help.
Okay. Alright, so make a strength check. Rin?
Oh, great. Gnomes, we're so strong. 16.
And did you want to make a dexterity check at disadvantage, Zephyr, to see if you can see this coming? Or make a perception check at disadvantage to see if you can see this coming. Because you are a little preoccupied.
15.
What was your roll again, Rin?
16. Do I get any, advantage because Mags is helping? Or...
Oh, true.
Do you want me to roll again?
Or? I would say that, Zephyr, you wouldn't notice it until he was literally grabbing a hold of you. Mm-hmm. You kind of see it in your peripheral, and then you feel his grasp on you. Along with Mags, you feel this kind of not bite on your ankle, but kind of bite at the... well, let's see here. Do you have pants on? Do you wear pants?
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of like a grab at the bottom of your pants, pulling you back.
Revelation: Zephyr doesn't wear pants.
So make a strength check for me, Zephyr.
Donald Duck
He's Winnie the
situation.
Poohing it.
A strength
And I would
check.
almost wait. Give me 2 seconds, or I'm gonna.
Is this at advantage or disadvantage?
I'm sending you a message right now.
Uh-oh.
Head on over to Patreon when you're done with this stream. Check it out.
Or right now.
Or right now. Well, she's done typing. It was a quick break. At least I think she's done.
Give it a browse. Make sure you...
For all of you with Echo devices
did you-
around,
did you
Alexa,
get it?
remind me to check out Patreon.
Did you get it, Andrew? Okay.
Yeah, I did. Roll.
So glad I have headphones on because
Okay. Zephyr, as you grab a hold and you start to pull back.
As I grab a hold, or he grabs a hold?
You're pulling him back. Yeah.
You said Zephyr, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ren, as you grab a hold and kind of as soon as you grab him, you start pulling back, and you feel Mags right there beside of you, doing the same. Zephyr, you're able to pull forward.
Oh no.
Is there something that you're grabbing?
Yeah, I'll just pick up the long sword that I've been using
All right. Okay.
and sheath it again.
Okay, so you feel Zephyr pull from you, Ren, with this odd burst of strength, and he does so, and he grabs the long sword off of the table that he had laid on there and sheaths it immediately. Zephyr, you feel at peace.
Better if you just stop.
At what point should we be worried about Zephyr?
Right now, probably.
The moment we met him,
Rude.
No offense to you, Zephyr, but I am concerned for your safety and all of our safety.
Clutching sheathed longsword with wild eyes. I could go either way.
I forget. Did Gerbil
I need to
being
cleanse
around
you?
all these swords hurt his side
I need
at
to
all?
perform ceremony.
Oh, I forgot. You did ask me that towards the beginning, Gerbil. I'm so sorry. And also, as a backward note, bitch, I'm assuming that you know already because you've already been. Your pendants, of course, were warm during this entire having these swords out on the table.
What?
I'm just gonna point to the symbol that all of them share. Dem Glemt. Home.
Yes.
And Gerbil, yes, you would definitely have felt your side kind of ache more. Rin, how close to the table did you get when you were trying to pull Zephyr away?
Oh no.
Well, I was whatever the back of him was. I originally was going to go between him and the table, but I figured that was a close gap, so I wasn't going to get that close.
Okay. All right.
But I was on the back of him. But
Okay.
let me do some
Ren
RPing.
picks
We'll say
up the
he
great sword.
pulled me forward.
Uh-huh.
He pulled me forward.
Yeah.
As he pulled me forward, I maybe started to tumble, and
No. Don't tip like that.
I caught myself in the edge and didn't touch anything.
You caught yourself on the edge of the table.
Like at the table, yeah.
Make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Oh crap.
Oh, gosh.
Wait. Let me look at something. Is this against magic? Because I have advantage against wisdom on magic.
Kind of? Sure.
Okay, thanks.
No.
This is like Frodo tempting everybody to the Fellowship of the Ring. Like, gosh.
Wisdom.
He's
19.
gonna turn it to Bilbo going, "Crawl."
Who says he already has it?
19.
19?
My precious.
Okay. Yeah, you hear kind of a whispering
Airless
as you
Kenku
catch
creeper.
yourself on the table, Ren, and push
Yep.
yourself back to your feet,
Featherless.
or back to a standing position. Yeah, it kind of goes away as soon as it came into your mind.
Yep.
All right.
Are you asking me that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm fine.
Okay.
Heard the voices a little bit, but I'm fine.
Let's go and talk to John.
I agree. Gerbil
Yep.
putting the big battle axe that no one's using back on his back.
Javaca will turn to you, Zephyr. We can leave these here. They'll be fine. You can get them later.
You can get them later, Zephyr.
Come, let's go. And she will stand by the open door, allowing everyone to exit before she does.
Zephyr's very hesitant,
Sure.
but goes out. I'm
Okay.
assuming with everyone else prodding.
Yes. Gerbil's definitely making
Yeah.
sure you're in front of him.
Yep, same thing with Tegan. He's making sure that he doesn't have a late minute change of mind. Last minute.
I'm
change.
ready for your test.
Yeah, okay. All right, whatever.
Miss Javaca,
Yes.
can I ask where you got that ring? It's really pretty.
She looks over to the table, and for anyone that's paying attention, you'll see like a very simple gold ring there, but with a very interesting design that's very, of course, to you, Pyxrin, very distinctive. Yes, there was a drow that passed through here, yesterday? Oh, he left here yesterday. He stayed here for a couple of days. Male. And, he traded that for some gold out in the, market, and the person reported it to me, and I checked it out. He was a little strange, I must say. I didn't get a very good feeling about him. He came into the temple, looked around, and before leaving, but not before I could get a distinctive presence about him. It was strange, indeed. So I brought it in here to take a look at it, but it's not magical. But I've never seen anything really styled like it before. Is it familiar to you? I believe they were traveling, in fact, he might be back through here sometime. He was traveling through, going south. It is lovely, isn't it? In fact, I might be nice and try to return it to him if he comes back through. I'm not really sure, but in a way I kind of hope he doesn't.
Did you ever catch his name?
What do you mean? What? I could talk to the market stall person. They might remember more of what he looks like. Very long white hair, kind of a rusty blue skin tone. I'm afraid to say it wasn't too distinctive, but again, it was just the general feel that I got from him.
Do you mind if I use it in my craftsmanship? I'm a blacksmith as well.
Oh, why not? I get a better feel from you than I did from him, so she will pluck up the ring and hand it over to you.
Oh, thank you. And she'll take a couple of sweet rolls from her bag.
Oh, what are
Here you
these?
go. They're sweet rolls. They're really good.
Sweet rolls. Smells very sugary
Uh-huh.
and very sweet, which goes along with the name. I take it it's good, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's what I have in my pack.
Okay.
Awkward laughing children in the background, sorry.
Thank you. I will
Those dang
be
swords.
more than happy to try it. Thank you so much. She'll kind of sit it on the table. She'll go across the room and kind of go to where like the tea kettle was and the little, and grab a cloth to put it on and sit it over there. All right. Oh, a little sticky. Let's go. And I will send you another message, Pyxrin.
What I do? No, I'm just kidding. Druids.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she will wait for everyone to exit before her. Everyone exits the room, correct?
Yes.
As you walk back out into the temple, the dancers have stopped dancing and they're kind of talking amongst themselves, some of them, but it seems like a few of them have left, and you'll see a couple of them kind of heading out into the kind of foyer area that you came through before. Javaca will lead you out there and through the foyer and kind of down these two large carved-in steps that lead you to the outside again. And you pass through like a small market. Javaca will kind of keep walking, but kind of slow her walk to get closer to you, Pyxrin, and she'll kind of motion towards one of the stall people, a gentleman who is a drow, who is selling a few things, kind of trinkets. He's the one that found the ring and reported it in.
Thank you.
And
she's gonna like kind of Pyxrin would be more so in the back. Where is everybody else in accordance with I'm not
Gerbil
sure how everybody else is walking.
Zephyr's
Gerbil's
being
close
marched in the
behind.
front.
Yeah. Gerbil, I imagine Gerbil and was it Tegan, were you also helping guide?
Yeah.
Zephyr.
I'd also probably be in
Zephyr.
the front too, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so we'll say that you're towards the back, Pyxrin.
Okay, whoever would be closest to her, she'll tap on their shoulder and
It'd
let
probably
them
be
know.
me.
Yeah, it's probably Renarius.
Okay, so psst, hey, I gotta go do something real quick. I gotta check something out. I'll catch up with you guys, okay?
Are you sure? Will you be safe?
Oh yeah, I'll be safe. It's I'll just be back in a few.
Where will you know how to find us? We're leaving. I don't even know where we're going.
I don't know either. I'll
The
just
two of you
figure it out.
the two of you make
She's like,
we'll have the two of you make perception checks since you're having this conversation and probably like looking around.
And she'll actually point to the place, the guy that the merchant that.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
Jesus. I got the same number.
Okay. Yeah. Y'all. Okay. All right. Yeah. Y'all look around. You don't know. You don't know. Where are you going? You're outside in the market, but who knows?
Did they see us? Did we keep on walking? And,
No.
Okay.
They see
It's just
y'all. They see
like a
y'all,
kid
but-
lost in the third aisle of the burger or whatever.
No, they see the group of you, but just nothing else that would like. They don't see like John is what I was like having them roll for.
Mm.
Mind if I call you Miss Java?
No, I guess not. No one's ever called me that, but it's fine.
Where exactly are we going? Because I got a little thing that I want to check out.
She'll kind of like look over the crowd and kind of look for a moment or two. Oh, John, he's right over there. We're just going to talk with John.
Perfect. Renarius, I'll be back.
Okay. Good luck to you.
All right, so we'll say as Pyxrin is heading off deeper into the market to speak with the stall person that Javaca pointed out, and the rest of you look ahead where Javaca pointed, and yeah, this is John that you recognize from before. We will go to our bio break. So for those watching, we to the John. For those watching, we take an 8 to 10 minute bio break. So 10 minutes is our counter. So stay tuned, stay with us, and we will be right back. All right. And we are good. Mics are hot.
I thought Gimbal gave me stress, but Zephyr's just like I need a Tums.
Whole nother level.
Yeah, that
Fucking
was
smack about him and he's not even here.
a long.
I know.
See, Pyxrin's actually curious about the soul part. She's a cleric, and like she's kind of,
Yeah.
you know, can't do this or that, or try this and that and that. If any of that stuff failed, just use that to help them.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's plagued with fire, but
Yeah. Yep. All right.
Do you want
think I
warlocks?
can rock.
Because this is how you get warlocks.
I have no idea what you're talking about. How dare you, Jordan? I love you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
So much wine.
Poor baby's got a fever. You guys are both muted, by the way.
My video didn't move, did it?
It did,
Did
actually.
move. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I accidentally stopped my video.
F you. It's fine.
Zephyr, roll death saving throw right now.
Yeah. At triple disadvantage.
You tripped. You tripped and fell on all.
Oh no.
It fell on your demon sword.
And all of a sudden, everyone sees Zephyr's longsword just come out of its sheath and just stab him through the chest.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Trying to stop him.
Yep.
Never get too close to a demon longsword, we told him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen.
No.
I just picture because Gerbil and Tegan were like escorting him. Like Zephyr just falls, dies with the sword sticking out. Tegan just bamps out. And Gerbil's just like, wait, no, it wasn't me, I swear.
And
I don't
then
hate it.
And then Gerbil grabbed the long sword
Yeah.
instinctively.
Yeah.
And then Gerbil would die because his wound would be like, hello.
Or would it? Or would the wound embrace the sword?
In which case, would I still die?
I don't know. I guess the only way
Gerbil
you'd find
the
out.
Lich.
I guess the
Or
only
the-
way you'd find out, Gerbil, is to take a sword.
Pick
He's
up
an
the one
arcade
that's...
archer. He's not going to touch no sword.
35 seconds until we go back live. You're absolutely right, Amy. Pyxrin is determined to spread the gospel She needs to learn is to start making them herself, and she could have a business.
Isn't there like a new baker feat or something? Or
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
It's real.
there you go.
5 seconds.
Earn your stat increase.
30 seconds.
Make us food.
2, 1.
It's not Penny's boat.
We
It's
live.
not Penny's boat.
We laugh.
We live.
We live. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome back,
Live.
viewers. Soul Calibur. Yes. Very correct, Bear. Welcome back to the Forsaken as we continue on through our Cursed Sword campaign. It's no
go
longer.
from si-
it's-
It wasn't a
it's-
group
from-
decision, though.
It's
It
no
wasn't a group
longer.
decision.
Whoa.
It's no longer quest hoarders. It's
Curse hoarders.
Yeah, curse
Curse
hoarders.
hoarders.
Exactly.
That sounds like
God.
like a TLC
Yeah.
like
Yep.
Halloween special.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Welcome to Curse
Yep.
Hoarders.
Yep. You got it. You got it.
Hosted by Josh Gates.
Oh my god. Okay. All right.
man.
So,
Mhm.
Pyxrin. So you move through the market towards this stall, and as you get closer to it, you see a drow male behind the table. He has various different little trinkets on it, other rings. It looks like just kind of like a mishmash of things. And a little sign, a wooden sign, kind of hangs off the front of the table that says the Foundry. Yeah, he's dressed very plain. Another drow woman is there looking at everything and kind of passes by, and he nods and tells her to have a nice day, and then looks at you as you approach the table. Yes, how can I help you?
Oh, hi. So I saw this earlier today, and she'll take out the ring.
Oh, yes. Remember finding this? I just, Javaca, you must have gotten it from Javaca.
Yes. We're friends.
Yes. He gives you kind of like a smile, like, okay, all right. And
we friends.
okay.
It's a good thing he's not there.
Well, it's a very lovely piece. What can I help you with regarding it?
The person that gave it to you?
Oh, well, I
Did
didn't.
they-
Yes, it was a male drow. Long white hair, kind of in these. What I can only affirm to you, we've had some of the drow from the Erebus Empire have passed through here before. Come in to speak with. Sorry, I'm finding a name really quick. Coming in to speak with our leader, Ellistrae. So he was dressed kind of similar, a little, not regal, but a little soldierish. Leathers and definitely not dressed like, and he kind of motions around, and everyone like around in this area, you've noticed, is wearing kind of like robes or like loose pants, with colors. He was dressed in blacks and dark blues and some purples. His name, I believe I asked, Yarvis? Varis? Something like that.
Varis, that's the name.
Did he say anything else? Did he drop this off or sold
Oh,
it or
he
whatnot?
was selling it for money. So we did the transaction. He introduced himself before doing the transaction. He sold the ring. I gave him the money, and he said that it was from, from his home place, somewhere in the Underdark, and that's all I could place. He did ask about if there were any temples there, or here, I mean, and so I told him about the temple to Ellistrae that we have. Beautiful temple if you haven't visited, just inside. He did ask about the population here, if Drow mostly lived here, and I said yes. Did ask if any Drow, like how often we get new Drow, I guess. New people coming into the town. And I mean, it's not that often, which is what I responded to him, unless something happens, like with the patch down south. And they are brought in here, but not much beyond that. He had something odd about him, is that he had spider webs on him, but I have some family in the Underdark, and I know those who don't follow Ellistrae sometimes have to deal with spiders and such. I think dreadful creatures.
Yeah. They're very stubborn.
I'm sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna go back to. Yeah. She kind of closes her hand over the ring and just kind of clutches it to her chest for a second, and then goes to sort of turn to walk away. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Are you okay? You seem a little... Did you know this Drow? He passed through. He's going south, so I would almost think you'd have to pass back through here. I'm sure if you stayed an extra couple of days, you could probably catch him.
Yes. She kind of gives out a forced yes to his question. Let's just say it's a long story. Thank you for letting me know that he's going south.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah. And she'll just kind of nonchalantly just start to walk away.
He did interesting thing. And I think this was part of his journey south. He asked about a wizard living out there.
Thank you. See, okay, thanks, bye. And she just darts off towards to where
have a
everybody
good
else
day.
is at. You too. Shit. She starts cursing and muttering underneath her breath. She's actually starting to run towards where everybody else is at.
Make a make a dexterity check Pyxrin, to see if you run into anyone.
What's my okay? So it's a 18.
Frank. Yeah, you're able to deftly dodge around people and
Shut up, Frank.
Excuse me.
So she's still running as she approaches everybody else. Guys,
I'm a lot of breath.
give me a second. We have a problem.
Other than demon-possessed swords?
Yeah,
We have a problem.
Worst case scenario, we die.
It's getting closer to that. Anyway.
Okay, so
Javaca will stop and kind of turn as well.
you know, Miss Java, there's a reason that I asked about this ring. So you know, Varis.
Varis, that's his name.
He's looking for the same mage as we are, and he's gone south.
The Drow.
Yes, guys, he's gone south to look for the same person that we are. And I have a bad feeling about this, y'all. I don't.
Wait, he was
I don't
here?
know how he caught wind of that.
Yeah, he was here. He was here yesterday.
He visited
He
Cullem?
left. He was here overnight and left yesterday early, extremely early.
Heading south,
Okay,
you said.
Yeah, heading south.
Calling for backup.
There's really not
No.
much where else to go going south anyways. I mean, we have some people that live out that way that don't want to live here in the mountains, that have their own homes. And beyond that, it's just forest. There's a statue out there of a couple of hands, and then there's some bridges far, far out, but I've never been out that far or tried to pass through there. It just seemed like it led out to the mountains, and I figured it was to like a lost village of sorts that was out there at one point. At least that's what I've heard.
I think you might be looking for what's his name? Colin?
Cullem Krenthora. The same one we're looking for. The same one you said John was looking for.
At this point, John will, you'll hear someone kind of, oh, hi. And John will kind of walk up to the group.
I'm in trouble.
This is a surprise.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see all of you again. Definitely a surprise. He'll kind of turn over his shoulder, and he's John looks about the same. His kind of like blonde hair is kind of pulled back into like a messy bun on the back of his head. Wearing very loose colorful clothing. Again, like his pants are a little more tight fitting, but they're like this weird material that you've never really seen before. And John will kind of turn over, like look over his shoulder, and Larek, look who it is. And you see the half-orc kind of walk over there, dressed in the colorful similar colorful ensemble that you saw him in Victa, and not Victa, Victa. That's the continent's name. Trindalag.
Trindalag, yeah.
That you saw him dressed in there, and he kind of wipes some paint off of his hands. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again.
Hi. Yeah. Small world. I think we'd love to catch up, but we just we're kind of in a hurry now.
Where to? Heading out of town already? So soon?
We're looking for.
Here.
We've been searching for a Cullem Krenthora.
Oh, Larek kind of chuckles. So are we. That's why we came through here. We got a little caught up, but
Varis.
Varis. That's an interesting name.
Do you want to be
Yeah.
cooked chicken?
Well, if you're
Excuse
going
me,
to
I
see
didn't
Cullem,
sense
why
that.
don't we go out? It's down south, right? That's where you're going. Why don't we go down together?
That's
Yes. That would be great.
You must defend yourself.
I mean, like, even like
Sure.
10 minutes.
John and Larek kind of look at each other, and I'm sure. I just talked to a few people to keep an eye on our stuff, and yeah, we can join. Sure. And he'll kind of nod to Larek, and Larek will kind of go into one of the opposite side of the mountain, and kind of go inside. You're assuming to maybe where they have their stuff at to get it. It is good to see y'all. So why the sudden rush to see Cullem? Did something happen, or does it have
Lots of-
anything to
Bad
do?
choices happen.
where do we begin?
Lots of things.
We'll tell you later.
For the first reason we were originally looking for him is that I've received a wound, and I'll kind of point that we hope he knows how to take care of, but we're hoping he could provide some more information about us in general.
So that's it? It's not, and he'll kind of step up a little bit closer to the group. It's not about time devices, right? I know that you were asking about them before.
Not immediately.
Because that's what I was going there for.
This is more. Have you heard? I don't even. I'm going to ask because I can't remember what he remembers. So, it seems that his wound is Shiga infused. Are you familiar with Shiga and
I feel
spirit?
like that's something that really has told me about, mentioned once in one of our conversations.
Yes.
Yes.
We've met Aurelius and we're working
Oh.
with him now.
Well, yes,
Since you
I know
last
that
saw
you were
us.
on your...
Yeah.
I literally sent you to
Yeah.
Glint, so...
Okay, so
And we made
now we know.
no. They're just saying we made contact and
Good. How's he doing? I haven't talked to him in a bit. It's been a while since he's reached out to me. Usually he's the one reaching out to me, and he'd be a little bit annoyed about it sometimes, but I haven't heard from him in a few days.
Really up in the air right now.
He's
very
having a rough time.
Oh,
something about the library.
sorry to hear that.
That the library is trying to. I can't say for sure, but it seems that he was under the impression he was in danger from the library.
Yes. The last time we tried to talk with him, we talked with
Geneva.
his secretary, Geneva.
Got it.
So
Okay.
Yeah, so things are not going well there.
That's unfortunate.
It seems that the Shiga thing is spreading and becoming more prevalent.
Yes.
Well, it's the mage spirits, right? That's what I'm dealing with
Yes.
here.
Yes.
I've been working on a
yes.
way to call out the good ones here in the city. Since this is where it kind of all fell apart so many years ago.
Funny you should mention that. We have, on our travel from Forlesk down to here, we encountered what would seem to be a house that has in its basement a portal to, we don't know, but Shiga or periodically come out through this portal.
The only portals I know of in this plane are, open portals, at least in Osbergen, are to Dimglimt. I do know they exist.
Okay, we can't be sure, but
It dim glimped.
It was definitely dim glimped.
Yeah, I thought we
Dim glimped.
but we
It's
have
sparkle.
we happened to pick up. There was a Lawton there, a man named Lawton, and he had devices, lanterns that could trap Shiga, or the spirits, and also he had, I don't know if he used them, but he also had weapons that could trap the spirits.
Interesting.
And
Emphasis on had
our friend Zephyr here.
don't put it back. Put it back. Put it back.
John's going to suddenly look at you, Zephyr, and at the sword as you're waving it around. Wow. You're not
Don't get
kidding.
too close. Yeah.
You're Maddie just trapped in this.
We might be able to. Maybe I could try to call some of them out and speak with them if you want. I've been
Maybe
speaking
not
with the
that
ones here. Oh, it's not. I wouldn't be taking them out of the sword. I would just be speaking with them, I guess, inside the sword.
Be careful because our friend Zephyr seems to be having
5 spirits, no touchy.
issues with the spirits inside. We're not sure what the nature of the relationship is.
There's a number of various swords and weapons.
You have more than one.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, we have
7.
7. Yeah, counting this
Well-
one. Yeah,
Yeah, including this
And what
one.
made you think this was a good idea to take them and travel with them?
We didn't.
we didn't.
Yep. Pointing to the symbol on the blade. Dim glimped.
Oh,
I blame myself. I stopped
Interesting.
watching them for 10 minutes.
so they were made in Dimglimt.
Dim glimped.
You just have
I
to.
mean-
That's something to ask Aurelius about when he's feeling better.
Yes.
Larek will come out with a couple of backpacks. All right, ready to go? Sure. I already spoke to them. Everything's taken care of. We're good to leave. As long as we come back for our stuff, of course. John nods. All right.
Miss Java,
Take your.
can-
Sorry.
do you mind Javaca's staying here?
Yeah,
Or is she
yeah.
coming
Javaca, I didn't have her leave, so yeah, she's still standing there, aren't kind of arms crossed, looking at the group.
Arms crossed because he's chilly, or arms crossed because she's annoyed.
No, not annoyed. It's more like just.
Or because she's possessed.
It's more like just a standing position. Like it's not. She looks more like a kind of, curious, I guess.
Oh, dang it, I don't have message. She's gonna go up to her and lower her voice, and I'll explain everything if we're able to come back, okay? I know it's really confusing right now. Do you mind lifting a prayer for us at the temple?
Absolutely, I will.
Thank you. And before she turns to walk away with everybody else, she'll say in Undercommon, a rightful place awaits you in the realm above, in the land of the great light. Come in peace and live beneath the sun again, where trees and flowers grow.
You'll see a smile kind of widen on her face, and she will nod. The same to you.
All right. Where are we going?
All right. Well, we're
Let's go. How far is it to where you think he may be?
it should be around a couple of days.
Oh, okay. Check our supply.
You both
Can
have
we get
horses,
horses?
I hope.
That's on horseback, yes.
Oh, okay. Ooh, on horseback. Okay.
Quickly
My
run to the
butt's
other side of the
gonna hurt.
city to get the horses and come back.
Yes. Yeah. He'll kind of walk with you to get the horse. They both have horses as well that they came in on, and the horse that they came in on. And we'll
I'm
mount,
so finicky.
and y'all can start heading off. Oh boy, is this gonna okay, yeah.
My butt's gonna hurt again.
As we kind of travel, we're on our way, and Gerbil's nerves kind of calm a little bit.
Mhm.
Gerbil's gonna kind of ride alongside Larek and pull out the book he borrowed from him.
Oh, you're done with it.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Hopefully it brought you some knowledge on your kind, or, or whatever you were looking for.
Yes, it was, some of it I already knew, but it gave me a better picture of what I might be dealing with. But thank you.
Absolutely. And he would take the book and smile at you, Gerbil, and continue riding on. So y'all start on your journey. Alright, so you'll be traveling a half a day to get up ahead of you as you start off into this kind of, as you said, like just to paint the picture for you again, Lysadere is located between these kind of like two mountain ranges that kind of meet at a point, which is where you're traveling towards. Lysadere, of course, was kind of like the two sides of the mountain were cut into to kind of form the city that's kind of inside the mountains, as well as like the rubble from the fallen city that they had carved into in between that space in that kind of like rocky valley. As you start on your journey, you still have this kind of like rocky ground that you're traveling on, slowly giving way to a little bit more patches of grass here and there and a green piece of greenery here and there on the mountains. And you'll also be passing built homes along the way here, like right after you exit out of Lysadere. And you have some made out of cobblestone, mostly made out of stone, I guess, and so a few of them carved into a few more pieces of rubble. But these are more kind of scattered houses that you'll see some Drow and some other races outside of the homes. Not enough greenery to really have like farms or anything here, but they will have some lives, some animals. But just seems like just people just wanting to live in singular houses, then all in the cave system with each other, like back in the village.
The suburbs.
Exactly, the suburbs. And yes, oh yeah, you pass one. A couple of them stand out. The homes that you pass, one seems to have a bunch of interesting sculptures in front of it that are different. You know, some of them are like, they look like humanoids, some of them look like animals, some of them just look like just random sculptures. And so you pass one like that has all of those kind of sprawled out in front of the house, and you'll see like an artisan working on one as well. Let's see here. So you go through, and this is pretty easy travel, I guess, since there's no forest yet, but you do see a forest ahead. Not as tall and not as thick as the forest you traveled through to get to Lysadere, but still a lot of trees. But it does look like you can probably ride through it and not have to dismount your horses to walk. Getting into the forest, everyone, as you enter in here, the trees get more and more as you continue in. It's about everyone make perception checks for me, please.
11.
21.
10.
6.
Oof.
Don't forget you have inspiration.
Does it have anything? Does smell or anything have to do with it? Because Mags can make a perception check.
9.
No, this is more sight than anything.
My horse is giving me trouble again.
I would say, let's see here. What all do I have here for it? Did anyone make an 18 or above?
I got a 6. Is that close?
Tegan.
Okay,
Oh,
as
sweet,
you
sweet gerbil.
pass through, Tegan, you're keeping a pretty keen eye out. You would see a cluster of trees with like some writing on it, or writing on them, I guess. You would also notice, and probably anyone with a 13 or above would notice, that you start seeing dispersed white in the trees and on the trunks and on the branches. That kind of reminds you of spider webs, kind of. They're not enough to, I guess, set off any alarms that like you're entering a spider's nest, but it's just enough to make it weird. Why so little? And you can almost see, I would say that Tegan, you would be the one that would notice this. You can almost see them like on the path that you're traveling to, like they've been trampled on.
Can I read the writing on the tree from where I am on the horse, or would I have to get closer?
You'd have to get a bit closer.
I was
It's
afraid-
about maybe 15 feet from you.
I was afraid you were going to say that. Okay. He'll, like Tegan, will give the whoa sign. Like, stop. And get off his horse. And very carefully checking to make sure there isn't any sort of, like, webbing or traps leading up to this
Make
tree.
an investigation check for me.
Sure will.
Also, so budget fireball? Question mark? All of you would notice, since entering into the forest, that your pendants have started getting a little bit warmer.
Great. Just great. 16 plus 0 is 16.
Okay. Yeah, you approach. You're not seeing any traps or anything around these, Tegan. In fact, you see the remnants of maybe a campfire. And on the trees, really interesting. Some of, like, there's like 3 together there that have pretty large trunks, and a couple of them just have what looks like maybe like someone tried to carve scenery into it. And then one of them just says Geraldine on it.
I will find you, Geraldine.
Oh, so
Hold on.
Geraldine's been hired.
I will find her.
And-
Oh man.
Yeah. And That's it. I mean, it's just like almost like scribbles on the other two trees, and then like Geraldine and this almost flourishy handwriting.
Oh, well, let's go back towards the group and
Which would
relay
take a
it.
lot of skill to carve into a tree.
Yeah,
but
I mean, yeah,
it looks
right.
good. It looks good.
Someone took a lot of time, maybe overnight or
Sure.
what? You know, they went down to bed.
Sure.
How can I tell how long the campfire has been out? Is it smoldering or is
No,
it
it's
just
not smoldering. No, it just looks like it's been there for a bit. Like you know, it's kind of to the point where like you can't really read like this is so many days old, but you can tell
Right,
it's not
it's
within the past
older
couple
than
of
that.
days.
right? So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I will quizzically report back to the group that there's a name on the tree, Geraldine.
I perk up dramatically.
What do you think, Ren?
That was the name of the girl that was wanted back in Burlesque, I think. I can't remember what city it was.
Oh,
I
Everest.
don't remember at all. Was it recently?
Let me
Not
check my notes.
recently?
Please hold. Please hold.
Okay.
but yeah. Well, interesting.
Oh, it's from the Empire.
Erebus Empire.
Yeah. No, it was from Burlesque. You're right.
Yeah, it was Burlesque. We learned to return to Burlesque.
Oh, and they returned to Relais.
See?
Right?
Right there. She looks like that, guys. Everybody.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Wonderful.
All right. So
Was there others? What was the?
We were
was there,
doing
like, web
so
stuff,
good
too?
with this. We were doing so good without the side quests, and here we go again.
You
Oh,
mean
the
main
sun-
quest?
Yeah. Come on, man. Geraldine is like
Little
what
do
the
you
story's
know,
all. Who's the story's all
Geraldine
about?
is
Did
the
you put it together
Forsaken.
yet?
She's the
Geraldine.
Forsaken.
Yes.
You have to find
Geraldine is Rinka's first name. That's what we're gonna find out.
Oh, man.
Geraldine Rinka,
so
Yes.
I'm down for that.
master of Hogwarts or whatever.
Tegan will get back up his
Stop
horse,
it.
but he'll sort of lead the way, but at a not at a quick pace, but maybe just for a bit, just to make sure, you know, to be safe. Maybe for the next half hour, at a slower pace, just to be a little bit more alert and aware of what's the surroundings.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And did we all notice like the webby stuff on the?
You would have noticed it like past anyone with a 13 or above in the perception that y'all rolled would notice some of the webbing in the trees as you're passing through them. Tegan was the only one that noticed it like on the ground.
Okay.
All right. So everyone so y'all are traveling through the forest. So who wants to try to navigate a bit? Because again, it's not as dense as the forest you were in before, but still navigation is required.
I can.
Okay.
Is John not leading because he knows where we're going?
No, he just knew to come south.
Oh, that's
And he
great.
would tell you that if you asked something.
Okay.
If I can, I
Gerb-
will. Yeah. If I can, I'll assist Ren.
Yeah, sure.
Does the fact that that forest is my favored terrain do anything for me?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. You get.
Okay.
Why haven't you been leading the way?
Well, you get so you get advantage anyway. So Tegan, if you want to, because we'll also need people if anyone wants to look around and keep an eye out.
I
I'll
definitely
keep
would.
an eye out
Okay.
with
So I'm-
Mr. Owl.
All right.
Perception.
So
What am I
Is that
rolling?
his name? Is that his
Renarius,
official name, Mr. Owl?
He doesn't have a name.
You are
so-
rolling.
Now.
You are rolling survival, Ren.
Thank you.
The
Survival
rest
check
of us
at
rolling
advantage.
perception.
The rest of
At
you who are
advantage.
keeping an eye out would be rolling perception. Yes.
Can Gerbil roll survival too instead of?
I mean, sure. Yeah, you can roll survival. You just don't get
20.
advantage.
28.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Dirty 20.
Yes.
Dirty 20 for perception. 15.
23 on survival. Gerbil's really good at survival, and he never rolls
Also-
for survival.
16.
Also, I did
On
read
perception.
today if we're traveling in my favorite terrain for longer than an hour, we can never get lost.
Okay. Cool.
If that ever comes into play.
15
So, like-
I got a
with owl
7.
vision.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So
I'm
Gerbil
just
and
distracted.
Ren, together, the two of you are able to navigate through the forest, along with a little bit of help from Larek as well. He seems to be kind of the person kind of looking at the map between him and John. So let's see here. So Tegan, what did you roll for perception? Y'all got pretty high.
30, 20, 15 plus 5.
And Rhaenyra's?
15.
15. And Zephyr, what did you roll?
16.
Okay. So between the three of you, yeah, okay, all right. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Tegan, you would notice. Nope, not here. Never mind. You notice.
That's comforting.
You don't notice anything at this point.
Oh my gosh, that is so mean.
Tegan thinks he sees something, but it's just
Yeah, it's just the wind.
he
just
sees
the
a
wind.
deer. He just
Yeah.
sees a deer flickering off into
Mhm,
the
yeah, it's
I
just
can't help
it's
but
just
feel
wildlife.
like-
It's just wildlife.
Can't help but feel like God's mocking us.
What?
But yeah, so you're able to pass through this forest, at least start in this forest. You feel like you're about halfway through, maybe. And John kind of points that out, John's kind of keeping track of the time and like, well, I think that we're supposed to be traveling through this part, for this long, and this part and this long. His timing's a little bit off, but he seems to be attempting to keep track of that. And it's about a little after, I would say those of you who made perception checks would notice that it's about getting close to evening, probably. You're about a couple of hours from it, probably. Everyone make wisdom saving throws for me, please.
Is it against magic?
Sure, yes.
Sure.
Just
Roll
asking
the
for a
3.
friend.
But I'm using lucky.
Oh, it doesn't help at all.
You have inspiration too, remember that. Didn't Joe get inspiration?
Yes, Joe has
yeah,
inspiration.
It wouldn't have helped a 3, so I used lucky.
What were your? Did you get new portent rolls?
I
20.
I did, but I forgot them, and the day's about to end, so whatever.
Nice.
It's a dirty 20. I got a dirty 20.
Okay.
16 for durable.
Okay.
18, 16 plus 2.
18.
Natural 20.
So, did anyone get a... I would say all of you, anyone with a 20 or below would be able to hear kind of a whispering around you as you're traveling. Very similar to what you've experienced with this before. That's what I had 2d20s out for.
I was just going to ask.
Larek and John both are like, oh, this again.
And Tegan will say, what are you making reference to? We sort of heard this coming through the forest to the north.
It's the spirits, John says.
Oh,
And
Comforting.
did anyone... and you'll notice Tegan asking him that he seems very unsurprised. Like, he's dealt with this, like, 100 times. Did anyone make a 10 or below? Ren? Okay, Ren, you would... we'll say you're traveling a little closer to Zephyr. You would hear, along with this whispering that you're hearing around you, you would also hear another set of whispers coming from Zephyr and drawing your eye towards... that's right. Drawing your eye towards his sword.
Okay.
That
That was a great
carrying at his side.
facial. Okay.
And but I mean, it's just catching your attention, and you're hearing that kind of second set of whispers. All right. So as you near kind of the edge of the forest, Larek will kind of point that out as he's like, it seems like he's almost like making the map as you're going. Well, I think he's kind of comparing it to something else he has drawn, maybe like something that he copied from something else. It seems like we're nearing the edge of the forest here, and he kind of looks up in the sky, and some of you will notice for the first time that it's starting to get evening, it's starting to get dark. We should probably make camp for the night. We still have another day at least to travel, so.
Okay. Tegan will scout and see if we can find something off. Are we on a road or are we just traveling through the forest?
I think we're just traveling through the forest.
Yes. Yeah, you're just traveling through the forest. There's no, like, you've seen remnants of a road, but it's very worn. It's very, near invisible almost.
Okay. So I'll look for a good place to set up camp.
Okay.
And we'll start to set up camp.
Okay. All right.
This is our first, rest since we fought everything in the woods the first time, right?
Yeah.
We've been going nonstop.
Yeah, we haven't officially leveled up yet. I mean.
Yeah, it is. All right. So as John and of course Larek will help you set up camp. Mm-hmm. John will, if anyone sits around the campfire after you've set up everything, does anyone want to, I guess, have any conversations during this time?
I'm going to cast water breathing on the entire party because I can.
Okay.
What?
Interesting choice.
What?
Taking a look around.
All
right.
John will be like, did someone just cast water breathing?
Tegan will just point to an area.
You never know when you'll be translocated and
when you'll be drowning.
It might rain later tonight.
When you
never know.
Cross into dim glint.
Are we planning on going?
Wait,
to
are we
Dim
crossing into dim glint?
You just never know.
Oh, okay.
There's really not a reason to not be able to breathe underwater.
Joe looks very. John looks very chagrin, just kind of a grin on his face, but then he'll become serious and to Rhaenyra and absolutely, you're right. And
this was such a.
Looks back at Tegan. Tegan rolls his eyes.
John and Larek will kind of exchange a glance of these guys
Wait.
A look that we are getting far too used to.
If this is so important to you, why haven't you been doing it then? Why just now?
Well, I sometimes forget, but remind me if I don't.
I take a swig of water from my flask of water, and while the water is in my mouth, I go just see if anything happens.
Oh.
And I'm assuming I choke on water.
Is that how it works?
I don't know. I grew up in a small Moss-style village, okay?
Yeah, I memean, yeah, you do whatever you're doing, Ren, and it feels like it doesn't quite give you don't feel like yourself getting caught up with breath or anything.
I don't think it works that way, guys.
We're here to save the whole plane of existence. Trust us. Trust us. You just gotta take our word for it.
Y'all are an interesting group for sure.
Tegan's going to ask while we're sitting around the campfire. Going to ask John. You mentioned the I couldn't help remember the time devices.
Yes.
Have you ever? I mean, what happens when you use one besides obviously time shifting? Are there any side effects or symptoms, or what happens around the time artifact when you activate it?
Yes. Well, after, I showed you the time device that I have, well, it's very fuzzy, but I just remember a time before and I remember a time after, and the time after was I kind of came to myself and things were different. I knew things that I didn't know just a moment before. That, my parents were alive and my sister was with them. Betrothed, honestly. And just things were different. And oh, right, I forgot that Andrew reset his camera.
Not to mention any names, but
Yeah.
Andrew.
Well, everyone's switched. Great.
Such
and
good teammates.
I remembered something different, and afterwards I began investigating, and I kind of look over to Larek, and John will, and look back to you and the rest of you, and here's kind of what I've concluded, is that when one is activated, that they all activate.
Oh.
Changing whatever the person most relative to it, the person closest to it, is most wanting to change, whether they speak that aloud or whether it's subconscious, I guess some would say, that study that sort of thing. And yes, so I have kind of looked to Larek, who will smile reassuredly at him, and I've got a little sidetracked, but I would like to find all of the time devices so that it won't have an opportunity to happen again. Yes, my wish was, that my sister be happy and safe, and that my parents be alive for her, and maybe even for myself, selfishly, but it doesn't mean that others wouldn't want far more sinister things. So they need to be found and they need to be stopped. But there are some that I don't know. You're just going to deal with different layouts here. There are some that I'm not really sure about. I know that Bornheim has one. I do. And that's why we were actually on our way to see Cullem, is because I believe that he has one as well.
Interesting. The reason it's funny you should mention fuzzy. I know and I'll look to the others for confirmation or just to check in with them. I have a couple memories that I'm not quite sure of anymore.
I would concur.
I would also agree.
Yes.
And when we checked in with Aurelius, he seemed to have the same symptom of some memories and he had a magical journal that showed that things had been altered in his mind. That things were different in his journal, which was protected against these changes, he said. And the journal was different from what he remembered. So that's why I was asking. I'm wondering if someone has used the device.
Well, obviously they have. Why do you doubt that?
Well, I wouldn't know what happens, and Tegan's going to think back, and it's like the most significant event I can remember point to is we were approaching the Erebus Empire a week or so, whatever timeline it was, how many days ago. And there was a huge shock that went through the land, and it almost toppled the upper half of the Erebus Empire on its pedestal. There was a great cause for concern that it may topple. They eventually, I think, righted itself a bit, but it did cause damage and injury. It was a huge, the best way I could describe it was a shockwave.
I don't have any specific information for you, if that's what you're looking for.
Okay, that's, just the only thing I can...
But it seems, and he looks kind of to Larek for reassurance, it seems pretty evident to me that one was used. Otherwise, why would what happened to me have happened? It wasn't me. I didn't use the dice.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. But you did... Okay, so you noticed as well that your memories were affected.
I just told you, yes.
If I may ask a question, have you experienced this before? I can't recall a time in my 20-something years that I've remembered things weirdly or differently.
This is from what I can tell, this is the first time it could have been used since possibly after the Mage Wars, when I can only just from what it is and from things that Aurelius has told me, it seems like they might have been made in Dim Glint and then possibly brought over here. By who? I'm not sure, but obviously someone either wanting to create change or, well, an existing theory between the two of us is to create chaos.
I can see how that can do that.
Yes. They need to be found.
Anything we could do to help you on that would.
Well, if you see any, then that would be great. And just let me know. Or collect them yourselves. I'm not sure. However you want to. As I said, I know of that I have one, which is secured. You can be sure of that. There's one in Bornheim. I have strong suspicion that Cullem has one. I seem to remember something about one in Relesk. I know that one possibly could still be in Dim Glint, but beyond that, there could be others that I haven't accounted for.
What of the one that Kazil's father once possessed?
I didn't know anything about that.
We were told by him about the time devices in the first place.
Who is this Kazil?
we do remember Kazil, right?
Yes, yeah, you remember Kazil. Well, that would have been a perfect way to just get rid of it, but yes, you do remember Kazil.
Call out Bad Bird.
I don't know. Where did he think that he lost it, or where do you think that?
We don't know, but we know that was why he was in Relesk. He wanted the one that was in Relesk, and whether or not he got it seems a little fuzzy.
Didn't he lose it in the Underdark? Isn't that what he told us?
There's one in the Underdark. It's news to me. Yes, if you have any way of collecting these, that'd be a great help. As I said, I only have mine as of now, and hopefully if Cullem has one. And then as soon as I can reach Aurelius, which I don't really have a way to do that. He usually, as I said, he always reaches out to me. The next time that he does so, I would like to ask him about the one that might possibly be there, but I'm not sure that he knows about it.
Would you rather they be under control of the Torchlight Committee, or would you rather they be destroyed?
The Torchlight Committee as in Aurelius? I'm not, I mean, if you remember correctly,
Torchlight.
I'm not part of the Torchlight Committee.
Technically speaking, the Torchlight Committee is Aurelius, and then we were also inducted into the committee. So basically what Rodarius is asking, do you want us to take them?
Well, I mean...
Which you just asked us to help find them.
Right.
So...
If we by chance couldn't get a hold of you or didn't know where to find you, should we have them, or are they too dangerous to be possessed?
I don't have an answer for you. I'm fairly new to this myself. I know some facts about them, but I don't know what would happen, or if anything would happen if you destroyed all of them. If you could even find all of them.
Tegan will sort of fiddle with his pendant and ask the others, should we tell him about the pendants?
I mean, there's a theory that I kind of wondered about, as if somehow they obviously are all connected, so could they be traced to one another? I haven't tried it myself because I've been out collecting and figuring things out, traveling, but... So it could be possible to find at least general areas, possibly, of... If you had one, which I do, and see where the... if you could maybe get a sense as to where to find the others. With enough arcanic power, of course.
That is good to hear.
Well, he doesn't know for sure. He thinks they might.
Yeah, Gerber will say in response to Tegan's thing in his head with the pendant and stuff. I think we should wait to tell him about our way to Dim Glimt, just because we don't know what kind of state Aurelius and Dim Glimt is. We could, I say we find a way to contact him after the fact. Once we see what's going on there, after we talk to Cullen. There's too much going on right now, I think.
Tegan will just nod.
I have a question. You said that when the device is used, it grants the desire or said wish of the person who activated them? Is that correct?
Well, it's a little tricky, right? Sorry, I'm trying to fix these effing nameplates. It's a little tricky. I mean, if you're not the one, say someone uses one of the time devices, and since it activates the others probably won't have someone actively using the time device as well.
Oh no, I understand that
So
idea.
it would have to be whatever they want the most, whatever that they would change time for.
But each person or the person that activated it?
No. Each item is activated individually once one is activated. It sets off a chain reaction.
And each item, each device activates a desire, even if unsaid, for the person that possesses the item at that time.
Let's put it this way. When mine went off, I wasn't standing there saying that I wished that my parents were alive.
Okay, but then it happened for you.
Yes.
Got it. I just was trying to grasp that concept because no one had mentioned that it granted desires and wishes yet. It was just a time device up till now in my mind.
Well, if you activate the device, yes, it would grant technically your desire or wish to change time for something. So it's clear to say that if you set off one, then each one that sets off after that is going to be doing the same thing.
So not really a time travel device, time altering dimensional device.
Yes, did anyone say it was a time traveling device?
No, but they didn't really say it was a time shifting device either. Just a time device.
Yes.
Got it.
The latter, correct.
Got it. Just tracking. Thanks.
Absolutely. I'm here for questions. I live for them. And he kind of gives a wry smile to Larek.
Kind of changing the subject. You had said in Lysadere that you were able to, or trying to summon some good mage spirits.
Yes. And a little bit successfully. We've been able to summon a couple of them. A couple of times we've drawn in the other, but we're able to suppress it.
What makes them good compared to, say, those spirits of the wood? Just that they're not vengeful, or?
Yes. You could say that. It's that they are more willing to assist. They're more willing to... Before I came to Lysadere, I tried... Because we were coming... Well, after I came to Lysadere. I had heard about, of course, that the mage spirits were strong there because of what had happened, their history. And I found it fascinating that the city itself seemed preserved. It's still a fallen city technically, but the coming through, and I'm sure you felt it too, coming through the forest, going into Lysadere from Manosbergen, it was rife with spirits. And not, as far as we could tell, not the best kind. And it kept getting stronger and stronger until you get to the border of the village, and it just goes away. I found that fascinating, and that's what got me to trying to call forth the, I guess, good spirits in the city and see if they were protecting it, which, from what I found, it's true, that they are trying to keep the city preserved from those that would not want it to be. And I guess that's what makes them good, is that I don't get the feeling that they don't want to see retribution for what happened so many years ago, but it doesn't quite eat away at them as it does some of the spirits.
Right. That's-
They seem to be able to. They don't seem driven, and those that I've been able to contact are actually quite a little confused as to why there are all of these, I guess you would say, flare-ups of more angry spirits. That they seem to be multiplying, and almost like something is driving them.
Right. Do you think there might be a way to, say, to turn some of these angry, vengeful spirits to become like the good spirits, to let them let go of their retribution and their hate?
He kind of looks up at the sky, and just now night, and you can see some stars out. A little bit of chill in the air. I don't think that it's impossible, and I would like to think that it can be done. I tried talking to a couple out in the forest after finding out what I did in Lysadere, and I must have just gotten a bad hand. And Larek steps in, and they almost struck him down.
Ooh.
Yes. But I still want to believe that a difference can be made with them. They were alive after all. But honestly, and he kind of looks to Larek, and I feel a bit odd saying this as a mage, but I'm not sure that I see a way out of them winning. I think what we need to figure out is, or at least what I think that we need to figure out, is how to work with them so that them winning doesn't mean the destruction of everything that we know.
Ooh. Clarification. Holding forward longsword.
Wow. Okay.
There are mages trapped in each of those.
Do you want me to do this now?
We should talk.
I'll kind of look to you, Tribble. Were you saying anything else?
I appreciate your hope and optimism. I'm just concerned because we know that these angry spirits, the Shiga, what Aurelius commissioned us to find out about. We know that they are just so set on vengeance and destroying everything. They are controlling this bugbear army, or at least pressuring them into this raid that they're doing across the I don't know how to work with that, you know? I don't know how to face an army or face the ones. I don't know.
Why
I
not
don't know
take
a lot of
care of
things.
Shiga at the source?
Pointing
We
at
don't
his
know how to-
heart.
Oh my gosh.
Aw. I understand your concerns, Gerbil. And I'm sure a lot of people share them. But I would also wager, and please don't take this the wrong way, that those bugbear soldiers didn't need that much of a push. Don't you think?
No.
So, I mean, how was it to say that the spirits aren't just using it as an opportunity, and instead of them controlling the bugbears? I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm also saying that it's also possible that they're just taking advantage of the situation
Where's the
by
bats?
roaming with these soldiers. I think there are, I would assume, thousands of them out there. Whether they be good, bad, mage, or otherwise. Spirits, I mean. But there are also thousands of humanoids and other creatures. You can't call their actions any easier than you can call the actions of a spirit. I wish I had a better solution for you. I wish that I could say that if you just talk to them, that they will understand and help. But I don't have that. And I'm not sure that I will until I do. I'm not sure I ever will. Honestly. I may die in the pursuit and finding it. And you can see Larek kind of give his arm a squeeze. But I think we're at the precipice of something. And if we don't try to work with those involved now, it might be too late. The situation needs controlled in any way possible. No, I'm not saying that we will control it, but we need to at least try to get a handle on it, at least. To understand it, and why it's happening. I'm no historian, but these are people who were snuffed into the ground. Or who had family snuffed into the ground many years ago. Their rage, well, I hate to say, but it's almost warranted, but it's how they use that rage that will determine whether we, and he kind of looks around the group, live to see the end of it. I don't think that I made you feel any better, and I'm sorry.
If it's any consolation, nothing anyone says ever makes me feel better.
You can see him genuinely smile at that. Larek will chuckle a bit, and I'd say wipe something from his eye, like almost a tear. So, kind of look back to you, Zephyr. So are you holding out your sword to him, Zephyr, or?
I don't have any others.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so
And I know that mine are angry.
no,
least
you
some
don't.
of them.
You don't say. You don't. All right. So, John will kind of motion you to lay the sword down on the ground, Zephyr.
Okay.
As you lay it down and step away, make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Save it.
You doing good? So
Yeah. Nat 20.
good. Yeah, you know, it feels weird.
It's my third one tonight.
It feels
It's
weird
nuts.
being without it, but you're able to step away and feel okay. John will kind of get into like a hunched, position, when you're near the ground, and kind of, look at it, crane his neck and look around it, and okay, all right, everyone could just step back a bit from it, and he is going to take a, let's see here, I'm gonna fall back to my notes. Where is it? Okay, thank you. Did I say that? Okay, yeah. Okay, so he has everyone kind of step back from them, and he will reach into his bag and pull out a small wooden box and slide it open, and will take a piece of chalk out. A pretty large piece of chalk. And will kind of like look at the chalk and look at the ground that's a little bit grassy and a little bit some dirt mixed in. There's still a little bit stone peeking through. And let's see here. Will he? Okay. He'll turn to Larek and ask him something. And Larek will pull out of his bag a pestle and mortar and we'll take the chalk and start grinding it up. After he does that bit, it doesn't take too long. It seems pretty easy to grind. John will take the bowl and start sprinkling it in a circle around the weapon. He will then go and find like a couple of flat rocks, since you still have the mountainside there, and bring them over and start using another piece of chalk that he pulls out of the wooden box, and will start writing an inscription on it. Does anyone read? What would it be in?
Goblin?
No, not in Goblin. Shoot. We'll just say it's in, does anyone read Abyssal? Okay.
Every time I create a character, I'm like, should I randomly learn Abyssal?
So he will write an inscription on on these rocks. He'll get 3 of them and kind of place them in like almost like a triangle, in on the outline of this circle that he's sprinkled onto the ground. And then he will kind of stand off to the side and just outside of the circle on one edge, and will kind of put his hands out like this and just start chanting in Abyssal. And Larek will kind of like lean into the rest of you and translate for you. And he'll say, "Sacrifices made, lives lost, a fire reborn." And John keeps chanting this over and over. And as his chants kind of grow a little bit louder, you start feeling this light breeze kind of surround you. And start hearing this distant whispering sound, similar to what you've heard, some of you heard coming into the forest and in the other forest. It sounds a bit more distant though, and you can almost swear that you see embers in the air. And as you watch John chant this, his voice suddenly stopping as the chant is over. And almost within, before you can even process a thought, 3 spirits hover above this chalk circle and the weapon. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go. Wow, I thought for sure something else was going to happen, but we didn't get there. So, cool beans.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Cool beans.
Oh, you're talking about the giant ancient dragon that we failed to see in the perception check?
That we're just walking across.
You would have thought if it was there. Yeah, this whole thing's a dragon back by the BTW. So, thank y'all for watching. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, players. It was a great night. For those unaware, you've been watching The Forsaken, which is on every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time here on Matt Bird Streams. We have a lot of D&D content that you can check out. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We have D&D 5e content, as well as on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with Tower of Dreams, which is DM'd by Andrew here. Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we usually have Dungeon Craft with Steph and Vic, where myself and Victoria work on minis and do dungeon tiles. It is on, not hiatus, but it's just not happening tomorrow due to Victoria's schedule. But we should be back the following week. Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time is Mad Art with Steph, where I, Steph, do some mad art, some fan art for the different campaigns here on the channel that y'all have voted on. Yeah, and as far as tomorrow for Dungeon Craft at 2 p.m., I might do a surprise art stream, but we'll see. I'm not really sure yet. But we also have a Patreon, so check out that if you're looking for ways to support the channel. You can do so there. Not only do you get some really cool stuff like art cards and movie nights, maps, but you also get, we get more back from that. So it's our preferred way to support if you're wanting to do so. Let's see here. We always head over to someone to raid. So let me see who is going live, or who is live, I guess, to see who that we can raid over to. And also don't forget that next week is our 1-year anniversary. So we'll be doing a dice giveaway sometime during that. So whoever's here, no matter if it's 3 or 4 people or 10 or whatever.
Hundreds.
We will be doing that. So check it out.
Wow.
And
thanks for all the raids from One Geek for 11.
Yes. Thank
earlier.
you.
If any of you are still here, thank you.
We definitely appreciate it. Oh yeah, okay. Alright, let's head over to, I think the best one that we have going is, let's actually go over to the Saving Throw show. It looks like that they're having a live one right now. So let's head over there, give them some love. Let's see here. Great. Oh, if I can type, maybe. There we go. All right. Thank y'all again. Have a great, a decent week at least. We'll see you in the campaigns this week. Everything should be going on, hopefully, except for Dungeon Craft tomorrow. Otherwise, hopefully everything will be on schedule. So until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye.